In this video, I am going to show you a step-by-step on how to create a great thumbnail for your YouTube videos. We're going to use some tools and software that are very inexpensive and sometimes free, and I'm going to share with you best practices to make sure that people are compelled to click on it. Let's go. Hey everybody, this is Antoine Dupont and welcome to another video. If you're new here and you're looking for ways to grow your business, then this channel is for you. Now, of course, if you get value out of this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. And if you want more content like that, then you know what to do. Just subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a thing. So let's get started. This is a hands-on tutorial. I'm going to show you step by step how I'm creating a thumbnail using Photoshop, but the principles are the same regardless of the tool that you use. So the several tools that I'm going to recommend, and let's switch to my desktop, are going to be Adobe Spark. I have a lot of friends that don't use Photoshop that recommend that tool. The second one that was recommended is Affinity. This tool, I'm going to pull the links of all of these in the description. And the third one, which is really the most popular, is Canva, just because they're so easy to use and very inexpensive. So again, I'm going to use Photoshop so you understand how I'm doing it, but the principles are not about how to do it in Photoshop. The principles is how to create a thumbnail, and then you can use any tool that you have at your disposal to do the exact same thing. I was talking with Abby a couple of days ago, and he's a young entrepreneur that wants to help startups and entrepreneurs grow their business, get more profit and scale their business and grow. So, here is his channel, and obviously none of his videos have a thumbnail. And I told him, and I says, listen, the chances of anyone clicking on your videos is really reduced by the fact that you don't have a proper thumbnail. So let me explain to you why this is so important. Is because when people are searching for anything on YouTube, they're going to put, like, let's just put Facebook marketing for local business. So Facebook marketing, and it's put strategies. And I'm searching for this. Once I type this, because I am looking for a Facebook marketing strategy, I am no longer really looking at the title, because I assume that YouTube is going to give me a video that actually answer whatever is in a search box. My decision is going to be made basically on the thumbnail. And this is what you have right in front of you. People are going to be making a decision based on these. And obviously I create a lot of content for Facebook marketing strategies. So I have 3 of my videos, and plus, since it's my computer, it figures that I probably want to see my own stuff, but that's what it's saying. But look at this. People are going to be making a decision based on that thumbnail. This is why they're going to be picking this video over this video over this video. There's something in there that is going to call people. So the nicer the thumbnail is, the more chances you're going to have someone clicking on it, and the more dull and boring it is, the less likely are people going to click on it. Now, this is not necessarily fair, because your video actually may be of better quality or even be like offer more value, but if the next guy or gal has a great thumbnail, then they're more likely to click on that. So the thumbnail is super important, and it's even more important on your phone, as you can see on my mobile phone here, because the thumbnails are basically half the screen, and they're actually very tiny. And several of the tips I'm going to give you are going to be based on people finding your video on their mobile phone, because I think a lot of people make mistake and don't consider they're looking at their thumbnail big on their screen, like they're seeing a massive picture, but they forget that people actually see it the size of a stamp. So it's really important to actually create a thumbnail that is awesome and you can read it when it's really tiny. So the first step in you creating a great thumbnail starts with the picture, right? So it's actually your face. I believe that the expression that you have or the picture is really key, because people are going to connect with other people. We're a social animal. So it's really important that you have a great headshot or multiple headshot of yourself in several situations that you can leverage for those thumbnails. Now again, what I would recommend is take picture of yourself, do selfies, and you can make multiple faces. And what I would recommend with the several expressions that you have is use expressions that are natural for you. I see a lot of people doing the clickbait thing, like making all those faces or like this. And it's like, if it's a natural expression for you, by all means do it. But if it's not, I'm going to recommend that you don't do that simply because you want people to click on it, because it's kind of like clickbaity. And I think it's going to deceive people, because if you have a really goofy expression and that actually your content is not goofy in nature, or you don't occur as goofy, people are going to be like, there's a disconnect there. So I think it's really important that the expressions that you have are consistent with how you are naturally, or especially how you are on video. Now, oftentimes when I work with a client, they're not always sure like what kind of expression should I do. So one of the things I do and I use and I leverage is the emotion wheel. So you just basically go on Google and look for emotion wheel. And it's going to give you a wheel with all the emotions. So let me open that in a new tab. And there you have it. Like you can be, you can use the surprise, the happy. So, what is playful for you? It would be like, so you can have all these emotions that you can convey, and what face would you make with that specific emotion that is consistent with your content. And then, if you have 10 or 12 of those, that'd be more than enough for you to create an emotion that you can convey inside of a picture. So for Abby, I'm going to use one of the pictures that I found on Google. I didn't even have to have him send me a picture. And the first step I'm going to do, which is really important, is to remove the background. Most of these pictures have a background, and that's just not going to work for what I'm trying to do. So I'm using a free tool, which is called remove.bg, and there is the link in the description. And it's super easy and it's free. This tool right here is absolutely awesome because a lot of people struggle with how to remove the background or don't know how to do it. So you basically click on upload an image, go find an image, and there it is. This is Abby, so I'm going to take this one, and it's doing everything for me. Look at that. This is Abby, and it removed the background for me automatically in a matter of seconds, and that's really awesome. So I'm simply going to download this image, and it's going to call it Abby removed bg.preview. I'm going to save that on my desktop, and that's the first step. Okay, so now we are inside of Photoshop. So again, this is what I use to create thumbnails, because I'm very familiar with Photoshop. But there's a couple of things. First of all, it's a little bit complicated for people that don't know how to use a graphic design software, and it's not cheap. There are other tools that are significantly less expensive and also super easy to use, which Photoshop is not. But the principles of what you have here is the exact same. So the first thing for me when I start a thumbnail is the background, and specifically the background color. I want to add a color, and how I start with the color is usually going from YouTube. What I do is, for whatever keyword, for example, if I was creating a thumbnail for Abby for Facebook marketing strategies, I would look at the first 10 to 15 videos, and I would look for what are the colors there. What is it that people are doing? And I'm seeing, obviously, because I have mine, I am seeing some blue. I'm seeing a little bit of blue here and red and purple. I'm seeing a green one, and there's a lot of pale and white. And I see one that's in purple here from Carlos Gil. I'm seeing some black. So what I'm trying to do, again, because I want my thumbnail to pop at people, I'm going to use a color that is not currently used. And the one that I'm not seeing is red, because if my thumbnail is red, it's obviously going to pop compared to the others. But you basically choose a color that is going to make yours stand out compared to the others. So the color I've decided here is red. Now, the ideal size for a thumbnail for you to create the canvas or the frame or whatever you call it on your software is 1280 by 720. That is the ideal frame, which actually is going to work on Facebook, because Facebook allows you to upload a thumbnail as well, and on LinkedIn. So all these sizes are universal. Whatever we're doing here is primarily for YouTube, but it works on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. Now, my next tip for creating a great thumbnail is to make sure that what you put on your thumbnail is mostly your head. And the reason why you want to do that is because if you use most of the body, or what I would say is above the belt, and then the entire bust and the head, the problem is that when people navigate on their mobile phone and search for a video like this on YouTube, they're not going to be able to make out anything. I mean, take a look at my face versus the guy that's right below there. You can clearly see my eyes and my smile, and you can barely make out the guy that's below me because he's using too much of his body. And again, people are going to connect with your eyes. They're going to connect with your expression. So it's important to actually use mostly head. So let me show you how I'm going to do this right there. All right, so I've just dropped Abby's picture inside the frame, and one of the things I noticed is when I cut the picture, I actually cut a shoulder here. So if I wanted to put his face on the right, his shoulder would be cut off. So I'm actually going to do the opposite because it's a possibility with your picture. You could have the same problem, and I'm going to put his head nice and big on the left side. I will say that your head should take at least a third of the thumbnail and possibly up to half of it. One of the things that a lot of people do, and I highly recommend it if you have that available in your software, is to actually have the picture pop a little bit more. So you can do a stroke and hiding a white line around the picture. As you can see here, because the edges are not really smooth, I don't know that I like the way this look. Or you can do a stroke or a line, or in here it's an outer glow, so it has a little bit of a glow behind it, and I think it makes the picture pop even a little bit more. So I'm going to recommend that you put something around the picture. Again, with those types of things, I would say less is more. Just don't try to overdo it. Sometimes I see people like drawing a big white line around their face. That's kind of like a little bit too much. But you could do something that's a little bit more subtle, but it just still pops the face from the canvas. Once this is done, you're actually really close to being done. What you need to add, obviously, is the text. So in Photoshop, I just basically click on the drop box, and I'm just going to drop a box here where I'm going to be able to type my text. Now, let me add some text on this thumbnail so we can actually see how it's going to look like. So here are the 5 tips. So I'm just making up some text here. One of the rule of thumb with thumbnails is to have no more than 5 words. Now, it's not always easy because sometimes what you need to say actually takes 7 words. Now again, it's a rule of thumb. It's not the law, right? You can have 10 words for all intents and purposes. But the reason why I suggest 5 words and trying for you to limit yourself to 5 words is because again, when you are on your phone and you're looking at the thumbnail, look how much space you have. I mean, this guy is saying Facebook step-by-step beginners in 2020. So that's 1, 2, 3. I mean, step-by-step is kind of like 3 words, but it's 1 because it has the little dash. But that's basically what people are seeing. And if you have any more words than that, then people cannot make out what it actually says because it's too small. So for example, here you have a thumbnail here, which is how to write a business plan to start. If you look at it, you can actually not make out anything that it says here. I mean, I really have to squint. I can see that it says business plan on the left, but on the right side, I cannot read anything it says. It's just way too small. And here is what's the problem is like they're doing their thumbnails like we're doing it right now, like on my screen. So right here, it's absolutely beautiful. I can make any words, but this is not how they're going to look at it. They're going to look at it on their desktop, which is actually a little bit bigger than a stamp, but on their phone, it's really tiny. So you need to actually build your thumbnail not based on what you're seeing in front of you, but how it's going to look like when you're looking at it on your mobile phone. One of the great ways to do this is if I reduce the percentage here of the width of thing, and I move it and I say, show it to me 10%. Here is the reality. This is how it's going to look like. Actually, that's a little bit bigger then that is the size of how it's going to look like on a desktop. If you look at the thumbnail in that context, actually really tiny as opposed to big and large on your screen, and you're looking at this, now I can clearly see his face. I can see that he's smiling. He's actually popping. You can actually see the effect even better right there. And then you can see the words. It says, here are the 5 tips. All right, so now we're back with the thumbnail big and large in front of me, and I can adjust my text to however I want it. And let's edit that text and then change the words. So now let's add some text, and I know Abby's channel, so I'm going to say something like, say yes to more profits. So there you have it. I just made the text a little bit more to actually take a lot more of the space. But what I want to do with the text is I want to add a little bit of drop shadow. So in Photoshop, what I have to do is double click on my layer, and I'm just going to add a drop shadow by simply clicking on the box. And look at that, it added a little bit of a drop shadow. So what it has the text now kind of like popping off of the page. And if I reduce this to what people are going to see, it pops even a little bit more, which is actually really what I want to get. And I think that quite honestly, that thumbnail is really awesome. Now you can add some graphics to it, say more to more profit. So you could add a little bit of dollar signs or a little arrow going up, or adding anything to it. This is completely possible. So if you're using a brand, if he was talking about Facebook, might be a good idea to add the Facebook logo to it. You can add a little bit of oomph to your thumbnail, but bear in mind again that a lot of these icons, when everything is said and done, you cannot make out what they are because you're looking at it on your phone and it's so small. One of the things I'm going to advise you is take a look at some people that are actually very successful on YouTube and take a look at their thumbnails. 6.8 million subscribers. That's one of his thumbnails. See what he did? His picture, his face, you can see his expression. Iron's good for you, ? Super simple. Take a look at this one, Daryl Eves. This guy is actually famous for having built, I believe it's 20 channels, over 1 million subscribers each. Look at him, amazing expression with his thumbs up. That's actually, he's kind of like, this would not be surprising to see him do that. So it's not a goofy expression. This is the kind of jovial guy that he is. So it's completely consistent with his brand. But look at the words, let's meet up, YouTube logo, in-person training. Super simple. And then this one, Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm pretty much sure everybody knows about Gary, right? I don't know how many millions of subscribers, but look at him. His face, his expression, we can all recognize. T with Gary V. No other words. It's just simplicity actually goes a long way with thumbnails. And here's another one from Nick Nimnim. He has an amazing channel. I don't know how many subscribers. I think he has 500,000 subscribers. I don't think he has made it to 1 million, but very popular channel. He's using the block text, the yellow, the black, the red, and the white. I've actually tested that style for some of my thumbnails, see if it would work, but you can clearly see his eyes, you can clearly see his expressions, and again, it's what is he using here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. So there you have it. Now basically my thumbnail is done. I have a great picture. I have the text that I need. I can add an icon here or there that is appropriate if I'm talking about a brand or if I want to add something. But for me, this is sufficient. Basically save it as a JPEG, give it a name, and save that on your desktop. And now you simply go on YouTube, and I'm going to show you how to do this and how to upload that thumbnail inside of the YouTube studio. So inside the, once you're on your YouTube channel, you basically click on your picture at the top, you go into YouTube Studio, you click on videos on the left hand side here. Now obviously all my videos already have a thumbnail, but I'm going to click on edit this video, and it's going to open up the video details. And if I scroll down just underneath the description here, you should have the opportunity to upload a thumbnail. So if I want to change this thumbnail, I could change it, I could download it. If I click on change, because I already have one, then I'm going to go and find the thumbnail I want to use. I'm just going to click on open. And there you have it. Now my video would have this thumbnail. And obviously I'm not gonna save this because I don't want Abby's thumbnail on my video, but this is how it's done. Now the last tip is about using a tool that is going to make a huge difference if you're serious about your YouTube channel, and it's called TubeBuddy. Now I'm going to put a link in the description with a discount code so you can click on that and check it out and see if it's a good fit. But here's one of the things that you can do with TubeBuddy that I absolutely love is testing A and B types of thumbnails. So right now here, I have one that's in progress. I'm going to show you what I'm doing is I'm testing two different thumbnails. So I'm using two different pictures, this expression versus this one, the red versus the black, pretty much with the exact same text. And what TubeBuddy is going to do is it's going to run half the people with the red thumbnail and the other half with the black thumbnail. And it's going to tell me which one actually works better. This is why if you go and take a look at my channel right now, you're going to see that I have all kinds of different styles of thumbnails. It's because I am trying to figure out which one is the best one for me that's going to give me the best click-through rate, which is CTR, which is the number of times that people are clicking on that. So you can see it's running a test right here. It's saying the click-through rate, the original is 3.72%, and the variation, which is the black one, is only 2.64%. So the chances is that the original is going to win, and once it wins, it's going to automatically send me a notification saying, okay, we've ran the test for a couple of weeks or for a month, and we definitely know that the red is better for you. So I'm going to get basically increase my opportunities to have people discover my videos by making sure that I have the best thumbnail all the time. Again, honestly, I highly recommend TubeBuddy. It's really amazing. It's going to give you all the data and all the intelligence to make the right decisions for your title and especially your thumbnail, and kind of like test it, which by the way, once it's done and it says, okay, the red is definitely better than the black, I can run the test again and say, well, let me try green. Let me try red and green. Which one works better? Until I find something that is really, really the best for me, and then I'm just going to go with that specific color because I know that that's going to be my theme and that works for me. All right, so that does it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you got value, I would appreciate a thumbs up. And of course, if you want more videos like that, you know what to do. You basically click subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a thing. And until next time, ciao.